Alright guys, what's up? We're back with a little bit more sponsored Zenonzard. This time we're going to be taking a look at Thanatos, the sort of like death and sacrifice flavored color in the game. So I'm going to be a little bit less like super introductory this time because this is the third video I've done on Zenonzard. I have put links to some of the earlier ones. If you haven't seen them, I'd recommend it because, you know, it is kind of important, kind of getting the basics, but effectively it is just a kind of AI-based game that you can play on iOS or Android. Okay, so let's just go ahead and kind of like get right into it. I want to kind of like show off more of the gameplay, you know, because that's, I think, the thing that most of you guys in particular are going to be interested in. So let's just first go ahead and I'll get into a lot more like specific deck building in some of the later ones, but just in the spirit of kind of easing into it, let's just start off by having Hina's advice on the card swaps on the Thanatos starter deck version. So we'll go ahead and just take these swaps here. And it looks good. Should be a definite improvement over the starter deck. Let's go ahead and just jump right in from here. Okay, so we're going to be playing in the Nation of Darkness itself, Thanatos, which is very fitting because Thanatos is our deck. Bit of a coincidence. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about exactly what we are going to be having here in this game. I'm going to take a very, very interesting approach to this one. I'm going to try to, whenever possible, deviate from what Hina is suggesting, just to see exactly like what we can do differently and maybe if she can sort of like learn from those decision points. Okay, so she wants to mulligan really aggressively here. She would even kick the Goblin Soldier, the 2-mana card. She would kick the Shadow Hand, the 3-mana card that sort of goes with our game plan. Let's go ahead and mulligan these sort of late game cards and keep the 2-mana and 3-mana here. Okay, so this one's very, very interesting. We have 3 of this card. This is Shadow Hand, and it gets stronger every time we kill one of the opponent's forces. So Hina has, every time I play, she is always telling me to go very aggressive. She's basically learned that going for the face is the best thing to do, right? We're gonna try to teach her that, you know, going for forces can be a good approach as well. And we're gonna do that by using these shadow hands and trying to kind of like power them up on the sides, okay? So hopefully this is gonna work out. Okay. Nothing too much has happened so far, you know. I mean, we have a pretty slow draw, but we do have the ability to summon our Goblin Soldier. We drew Wraith of Malice. This is a flash card that we basically can flash out BP and Revenge. Revenge allows us to basically like kill a unit guaranteed if we're on attack. So it's like Death Touch but only on attack. We can talk about what that means in a little bit. So for example, she wants to end our turn here. Now, in Zenonzard, units have a bit of like sort of almost pseudo summoning sickness, where the turn they played, they can't attack the face, but they can attack either of the forces, right? And because we want to kill the forces to get stronger, we are going to, she wants us to pass because she just wants to go face. We're going to go ahead and attack this side force. We're going to try to kill this one as quickly as possible so that we can power up our hands and hopefully teach Hina that sometimes going for forces is really good. Okay, they're playing some big scary sea monsters. So the opponent has declared an attack here, and Hina basically wants us to use Wraith of Malice plus our block. I think I would go for it here. Yes, it's a good call. It allows us to be a little bit more aggressive. There's nothing wrong with this. So we can go ahead and flash this out. This is like a, you know, a burst speed thing, a trap card, instant, whatever you want to call it from whatever game. But in this game, because we have the ability to untap, we can go ahead and block this. Now, unfortunately, wait, why did we die there? What happened? I missed something. Did one of their abilities kick in or something? Ghostly Surprise. Oh, I see. So it basically canceled out with Ghostly Surprise. I missed that. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Our flashes just literally canceled each other's out. Okay, but now I can play the Shadow Hand, and just to be edgy, even though I've got 3 of them, I'm gonna choose the one that she's not suggesting. Not that it matters. So she wants me to attack this left force, and she wants me to do this because when you kill an opponent's force, they get to sort of ramp off of that. I'm gonna kill their force in this case. Because I've got 3 Shadow Hands, I have a very high synergy, very high synergy hand here. So these forces, they have special abilities, and you can choose them in the deck build, right? They all do unique different things. We killed the one that was giving the opponent passive combat damage, battle points in this case. And, you know, we've got our own that they can kill as well. Looks like they're attacking this one here. And when you kill the opponent's force, they get to ramp into kind of like, you know, a new source of mana. They get, you know, the extra mana crystal, right? And that's a pretty big deal. So they specifically are setting our forces low and making sure that we can't, you know, get as much value out of them. So she wants us to basically take this unit outside of our mana bench, get it on board, and then play our second Shadow Hand. I like this play. It's gonna work perfectly fine. And because we killed one of her forces, in this case, both of my Shadow Hands have plus 200 BP and plus 1 DP. So these are both really, really scary. So the DP means the opponent kind of has to block these, because they're taking 2 damage every time they don't, which is like really, really, really scary, basically. She wants me to attack with the 1 instead of the 2, which I don't think makes enough sense. I guess she wants to leave this one, she wants to probably leave this one not attacking so that I can block next turn, would be my bet. She wants to end the turn now. Oh, she wants to attack with this one too. It's a little aggressive. Basically, we are kind of like forcing one of these to die. I'm fine with that. I mean, they should have to block. It kind of ends up resulting in effectively the same thing, because if it's up as a blocker, it's like, you know, these are basically going to have kind of like the same issue here. Okay. So this is a big boy, and this is part of the downside of when you target the opponent's forces like this. When they get extra mana, they can sometimes just start doing really scary things. Now, we are getting our forces killed, and now you can see what happens when your force gets killed. We lose this special ability that our force was passively providing to us. In this one, mana is returning to active states at the end of turn, which, by the way, I didn't actually realize we had this, which is why, you know, I wasn't... Sometimes with flashes, you have the ability to like get the mana during the opponent's turn, and I mentioned in the last video, without realizing that it was one of my forces doing that, that's how it works, but it requires this force to make that happen. Okay, so we can go ahead and play our mana here, and we can go ahead and return the Shadow Hand from the mana to the board, right? Now, again, the Shadow Hand got buffed because we killed this side force. And she wants us to play Destruction, which is the flash destroy a minion. And she wants us to... What are we destroying here? Passive, whenever you use a magic card and it is the active state. But the mana's not active, so I don't really care. Why does she want us to use a kill spell here? I'm going to ignore that. I'm just gonna play out my units. I shouldn't need to use the kill spell here. She might know something I don't. She really might, which is a little scary, but I think I'm good to just go ahead and take my attacks. I've got 3 Shadow Hands. They're all buffed up from killing this force on the side, and if I kill this other force, they're all gonna get a lot stronger as well. So we can summon this for free. It looks like it's just gonna be kind of a free defender. Okay. So, as you can see, because our battle points are higher, we're winning these combats. Because they just have a lot of these, like, you know, 200 battle point blockers that aren't really doing anything. And she wants us to pass here, which is pretty fine. Because it's got 0 DP, the Shielded Goblin basically can't attack. Because if I attack, it doesn't actually do anything, right? Because they just don't block. It's like a 0 attack unit. It doesn't actually damage forces or the face. So we will just pass here. This is actually really cool. I like this shadow hand strategy where you kind of play for more of the long game and make sure you're killing all the side forces and sort of just like own the board. They just played a scary spell. I actually didn't get a chance to read what that did. Went away really quickly. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and block this. They have a thing with 3 DP. Oh my god. So yeah, let's go ahead and block this. Make sure we're, you know, sacrificing that shield goblin. And now we've got these hands on defense. Now I've got this force over here, Force of Eternity, Ouroboros, and that's making it so my units kind of have vigilance. Effectively, they're attacking and blocking. So even though these eyes attacked last turn, they can block this turn. Unfortunately, the opponent is playing Poseidon. This is the blue color, and they have a lot of tricks that basically replenish their actions and send my units to mana. So they were able to power us down here. This was actually a really scary opponent. I actually really like this deck. Poseidon will be really interesting to try out because they do a lot of cool combos like that. Unfortunately, we lost. Let's go ahead and see if we you know, learn anything from that game. Yeah, not unexpected. We're basically behind most of the steps of the way. Let's go ahead and give it another try, see if we can try a similar strategy and get a bit more payoff this time. Okay, so we're against Charlotte in Demete. Demete is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's basically the green color. They're kind of like, you know, foresty, very much centralized around the idea of kind of like buffing. That's not going to be their deck, that's just the field we're playing on here. So, just a little bit interesting lore point. Alright, I actually haven't seen Charlotte before either. Okay, so let's see how this one ends up. This time I want to make sure. Okay, so she wants to kick this 3 again. I'm actually okay with that. I do have the 2. So this one is mana returns to active state, and this one is DP dealt to your life by minions is reduced by 1. This one's actually really important, and this one is dealt to her face. So we definitely want to kill the force on the right first. If we're going for the forces, we want to kill the force on the right and then the force on the left and then her. Because the force on the left doesn't really do anything until we're targeting her anyway. We don't need the second field minion, so I agree with kicking that one there. And yeah, this one's a little bit too expensive. Wait, she wants to kick this, but this is just a better version of this. Not necessarily. Field minion card isn't as good as a draw one necessarily. Yeah, okay. I can see that, but she wants to kick the 3. The 3 for 500 BP, I actually quite like just getting this out early. So I'll go ahead and take this curve. I'll kick the 5 and keep the field, the 2, and the 3, just making sure that I'm going a little bit earlier here. Yeah, we're drawing a lot of 5s. She seems to really like keeping late game things, so I have to make sure I get her off of that. Okay, go to neutral mana. And then I turn. Okay, so depending on the synergies in our hand, we might just end up going directly for face. I would like to be able to like try to go for like the force killing like late game strategy. So we've got a revenge off of the 2-tailed cat. Revenge is basically a unique keyword where it gives you sort of like a guaranteed kill on when you're attacking. So when it goes to battle, it kills them like Death Touch. So now that we've taken the attack, we can go ahead and send this to the bench. Okay. So yep. She agrees with me that killing the right force is more of a priority than killing the left force, because the left force is only protecting Charlotte. So if we're killing forces, we want to go right and then left. So she wants to move this mana to the field instead of the cat. That's interesting. I like it. I'm fine with that. And then we've got our Megalosaurus. Megalosaurus is actually decent. Honestly, just on turn 3, having like a 500 is pretty good. Now she wants to attack the left one. Okay, what's going on here, Hina? She just doesn't want to kill the force, basically. She wants to damage both forces without killing either, necessarily. That's honestly not even that bad. That kind of makes sense, because the force on the right isn't actually doing that much. Active state at the end of her turn. No, I'm gonna kill this force on the right. Sorry, Hina. I have to value killing this and stopping this ability more than the ramp. Okay, so we killed this force. The opponent gets a field unit, so they effectively get to ramp 1 mana. But we killed the force of the Phoenix. And what this means is their flash cards will not be able to use free mana, right? Force of the Phoenix allows you to have your entire mana refreshed during the opponent's turn, which means she can spend her mana and then leave the flash options up. And this means that because this is, you know, a user build deck, this is going to be a deck that's built around Force of the Phoenix, right? So stopping the ability for them to like double up that mana for flash is actually going to be really impactful here. So she wants to return the skeleton to the base and then summon one of the 5s. Now we've got a few 5s here. We've got this one, return a field minion card from trash to hand, which I don't think we even have one in trash. So it's just the draw 1 card, which kind of has to be right, unless we're double playing, which doesn't really look so great here. So the Ironclad Trihorn, that's on also a 500. Yep, let's go ahead and play this. 500 that draws a card. Looks pretty good. Okay. We can go ahead and start attacking this force on the side. So as you can see, depending on, you know, exactly like what your situation is, it can be good or bad going for different forces. So Research, Ironclad Trihorn has this, which is at the end of the turn it returns to the active state. So basically it just has vigilance effectively, if that makes sense. Like you can attack and then potentially block. So we can attack here, but it's probably better keeping our 2 DP unit up as a threat. Like forcing this exchange with the Rhino isn't actually really good for us. It's sort of like how you wouldn't take that exchange in something like Runeterra for the same exact reason, right? Okay. It's playing select one of the minions to resurge. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So she wants to summon this small minion. This is interesting. So this one isn't actually going to be accomplishing too much here. She might want to send it to the bench. In this case, you'd really rather play stuff that's a little bit larger. The opponent's tapped out and you just want the ability to attack through this Rhinoceros. We also have the ability to play this one, which is destroy a minion. And maybe that's what she wants to do here. Maybe she wants the Silverhead Crow and then send it to the mana pool and then use destroy a minion. Could be the play. She wants to take the attack here. This one's interesting. This guy has revenge now. So she's probably thinking that now that his unit has revenge, it's okay to take this exchange. I mean, he might be forced into this block, and if he does, then our bird will be able to kill off the left one, which is kind of nice. Because now that our bird can kill... Oh, she does want to send it to bench. Oh, that's so weird. So we could have sent it to bench and then used main flash. I kind of... When the AI does something... When they recommend something strange, I sort of just want to follow it to see what she's thinking, like what she's planning for, and if she sees something I don't. I'm still not sure exactly what her plan is. She might want to play the Own Ironhorn. She might want the Chariot here. Let's see what her plan is. So she wanted to play the Bone Chariot, which has 2 DP, and it can get the Scorpion back in our hand, and because it has 2 DP, and because units on the turn they're played can attack forces, we have a nice clean way to finish off the force on the left. The force of the... what's this one called? Force of Triumph. That works pretty well. I mean, it gives us back the Scorpion, which is just like a high value draw engine. I'm down with it. We also... the thing is, we do have Force of Rebirth still, so our mana is still getting replenished, so we're not really in a hurry to use Destruction. That actually makes a lot of sense. That's better than the play I was thinking. I would have used... I'm pretty sure she thought of that, by the way. I'm pretty sure that's her line of thinking, because I've actually seen her being like incredibly aggressive. I have a pretty good idea how the AI thinks at this point, just from playing over and over again, and almost always in every sort of similar case, she would have gone for like the destroy a unit there, like the just like kill the minion. I was pretty sure that's what she was thinking, but she was actually thinking that because we have the Force of Rebirth Phoenix, that it's actually better to leave this up as an option for their turn. Okay, so they played something that's forcing us to kill one of our cards. Yeah, and then we're just, she wants to play the Scorpion. She does value the Scorpion quite a bit. I mean, this is, you know, she went out of her way to res it. We've got a lot of mana, 500. I mean, 500 is pretty good right now. 500 plus draw. It's kind of all you need. Yeah. I wanted to move more away from, you know, what Hino was suggesting here, but her suggestions have been pretty on point this game. Now she wants to get the two-tailed cat on board. Two-tailed cat is pretty good because it's got revenge, so he effectively won't be able to block it. Swim the board a little bit more with Goblin Soldier. I like it so far. So Goblin can get in. He can't really block this for as much value since it's just 1 DP, and keep in mind he only has 1 block, so he has to use it pretty carefully here, right? Now, presumably, we are just conceding the fact that, you know, he's going to basically just block one of our 2 DP things. He can't block the, you know, 1 DP revenge thing. He's just gonna block these, and they both just have summon effects, so they should be equivalent. And he's got to take his only block here. So yeah, all of these are just two damage points, 500 battle points, so it's an even exchange. And now they've got a pretty big board to deal with. And even if they do, we have our hand. I think this is like really, really important. I want to point out the fact that we killed this Force of Rebirth Phoenix. This is the one thing we deviated from Hina's plan. She wanted us early on to ignore the Force of Phoenix, and I think it was really, really imperative that we ended up killing it. Because you can see the opponent's hand, it's actually been stuck with a lot of these cards. I'm pretty sure they've had a couple of flash options that we've effectively completely locked out, right? And that's really big. Now, they're going to go ahead and attack our Force here. She wants to use Destruction, presumably to kill like the big boy, the octopus. 400 BP. Hang on, let me just see if I actually want to destroy anything. I mean, let's not do anything yet, right? We can go ahead and go to the block phase and just block with this. Should be equivalent exchange. And then they aren't attacking with this. Oh, so I see what she wanted to do. I get it. Because she wanted to just use it on the octopus because she realized that it was our last chance to use the mana in the opponent's turn that we got from Force of Eternity. I see. That's why she wanted to do it then. Because now our mana is, you know, replenished and wasted because of that. Because we're getting the mana back every turn. Or sorry, not Force of Eternity, Force of Rebirth. Okay. It shouldn't end up mattering in this case. Now, we can just go ahead and ignore this. And because our two-tailed cat has revenge, it will kill the unit blocking it, and the unit they have to block here because they're out of mana and they're at 1 health. And now the revenge will kick in, killing their unit, and then we can just go ahead and end the game here, right? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Perfect. Alright, that's actually really interesting. She saw like 3 different things that I didn't see this game. So, it's really cool sometimes, you know? That feeling of just being able to have someone kind of like point out interesting lines of play. It feels like it accelerates the learning process quite a bit, which is a very interesting element in a card game. I don't know, it feels pretty unique. It feels like something I kind of never knew I wanted, you know? But yeah, I'm just glad we're seeing more innovation in the industry, because like card games for the past like almost 10 years have felt really stagnant, like very, very, very formulaic. It's just like, I've got this IP, I'm just gonna do a by the numbers, you know, card game just to sort of like capitalize off this IP. It's really, really nice seeing things doing some pretty innovative things. It's a really cool direction. So yeah, I'll definitely be, you know, playing around with some more of the other colors and the other you know, the other play styles. And next time, we're going to get a little bit more into the deck building approach of the game, and that'll be a very interesting process. So you can try downloading Zenonzard now from the links in the pinned comment to participate in the ongoing July events, where you can earn up to 240 of the 500 cards for free. You can also check them out on socials, Twitter and Facebook using hashtag ZenonzardACI, and I'll be doing a few more videos for Zenonzard on this channel as well. I actually did one already that was kind of built around the idea of a more introductory version if you were a little bit kind of like lost or wanted a better intro explanation. That one's going to be linked in the pinned comment as well.